There's been a lot of concern since Battlefront announced flexible ABS plastic figures that they'll be like Airfix toy figures. Luckily, I have some Airfix figures here, so let's do a comparison. I bought these 1/76 scale miniatures to play Flames with my nephews. They're a bit hard on the good minis. Here they are. These are late war British troops from Airfix. As you can see, the plastic is very flexible. In fact, I'd call this bendy. It offers very little resistance to being deformed at all. It does sort of go back to its shape after you bend it, but can stay permanently deformed with enough force. This bendy plastic can also flex enough for paint to crack and flake off. I have some painted British Airfix figures I've used on the table a few times and they're fine so far. A decent enamel undercoat helped here, but it can be an issue. Now, I don't have any of the new infantry figures available, but these new plastics are used in the gun crews for the 8.8cm flat guns and the 25-pounder field troop sets. So let's look at these. Here are the 88 crews. Now, Battlefront calls these flexible, but they're in no way as bendy as the Airfix figures. In hardness terms, they fall about halfway between the soft toy plastic and hard model styrene we've seen previously. It's not bendy, it resists deformation. I'd call it pliable rather than bendy. However, very thin parts like this rammer on this figure from the 25-pounder gun crew are pretty flexible. But bear in mind, if I'd done this to a hard plastic part, it would have broken. Battlefront's video also talks about using hot water to return deformed parts to their original shape. So these figures are pliant. They do have some give, but they certainly aren't Airfix bendy. I haven't painted them, so I don't know how well paint will adhere, but a good undercoat will help here. Uniform details on these new figures seem fine, but faces maybe lack the deeper, strong detail usually found on Battlefront metal figures. Good paint and wash techniques will be needed to bring out the best here. Certainly this example from the Battlefront website looks good. What are the pros and cons? Battlefront says these ABS plastic figures are cheaper to produce, so that's something to look forward to. Being a little flexible means minis will bend rather than break, so they might prove durable on the table. The cons are that they are flexible and time will tell if this causes any paint flaking. Thin parts like long gun barrels and bayonets may be the most at risk. Look at using a good undercoat for the best results here. The other drawback is these don't use plastic cement. ABS doesn't react to the solvent in styrene cement, so you'll need to use superglue here to attach them to the base. But to answer the main concern, these aren't Airfix toy plastic. They're much more rigid than that and seem to resist deformation for the most part. There are some pros and cons with this material and I haven't painted any. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm willing to give them a go. At this stage there are still metal figures available for anyone who really hates them, and if the new plastics prove they aren't up to the job, Battlefront will have to change them.